Hi everyone, welcome back to this video, and in this video I would be giving you some information on dependent and independent variables. So in any research that we have, we would come across a lot of data and variables. So it's very important to understand and to identify what are your dependent and independent variables which would be helpful in your research. So let's get into it. So starting off, a dependent variable. So when changes in one variable depends on the changes on other variables, then it is called a dependent or endogenous variable. So you have a variable which is dependent on other variables, and whenever the external variables they change, it also causes an effect on the dependent variable. So this is said to be a dependent variable. And when you look at the independent variable, variables that cause the changes or other variables do not depend on other variables, okay? So they are called as independent variables. So when there are changes caused to other variables or they do not depend on any variable, it's said to be independent. And to give you an example, so let's say that you're dealing with a research that is having information about a product, and you want to understand how does the demand of a product actually exist and what are the various factors that affect the demand. So you have a demand which is variable X for a product, let's say a car. So is dependent, so the demand variable is dependent on some other variables which are price, income of the particular person purchasing the car, and the price of competitor cars. So all these are going to be the independent variables, and these factors definitely will affect the variable which is demand. So its demand is dependent on the independent variables. So now why understand or why identify these variables? Why I should, you may ask me, why should we identify these variables? So it's very important because when you look at this here, you would notice that the dependent variable is the effect which was brought about by the independent variables which are the causes. So because of a fluctuation in price, because of the people or the population's income, and because of competitor car prices, it has brought about an effect to the demand of a particular car. So definitely, when you understand these independent variables, indirectly you are identifying the causes, okay? And when you identify a dependent variable, you're understanding the effects. So the relationship, the cause and effect relationship helps you, you will be able to identify this effect based on your independent and dependent variables. And also, when the researcher wants to play around with the research, wants to identify different scenarios, then what the researcher does is the researcher manipulates the cause, or rather the independent variables. So by altering or manipulating the price, incomes and competitor price, you will find that there will be a effect on the dependent variable. So in this way, the researcher also starts manipulating the variables in order to check different scenarios and outcomes. So this is a little bit of information on dependent and independent variables. So if you like this video, you found it helpful, please do give this a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe to this channel, and also do share your feedbacks. Thank you.